Hi, this is Dr. Darwin, the new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin on the New Dentist Podcast Show. You ask questions about getting into dental school, getting into residency, and then life after dental school and residency as a new dentist. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page, Dr. Darwin Speaks, as I will be posting videos on a weekly basis and videos that are very helpful for U.S. pre-dental, current dental students, and even residents. And we also have a segment that been helping a lot of international dentists that are coming to the U.S. So I don't want you guys to miss those videos at all right? Also, anytime you can send me questions right over here at newdentistcoach@gmail.com, and we'll get those answers to those questions for you. Today, we're going to be joined with student Akabike, student Dr. Akabike. I said it right, yes.
Yay, woohoo.
Student Dr. Akabike, who's joining us, and she has some questions about preparing for residency. So, student Dr. Akabike, again, thanks so much for joining me, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, well, I am a third-year dental student at the University of California, San Francisco. I am interested in applying to either an AGD or a GPR program after completing dental school, but I kind of want to use my D3 year to kind of prepare for residency applications, researching different schools. So I would like to start this process sooner than later. So I'm trying to give myself almost about a year's time to prepare my application materials, really research schools and things like that.
Wow. That's really great. Usually people are using the D3 year to really focus on transitioning in clinics, which I'm pretty sure you're probably doing at the same time.
Yes, I just started clinic, so it definitely is a transition, but I'm trying. I don't have too much studying to do, so I want to use the time that I used to use with studying to like preparing for residency and researching schools and maybe even doing some site visits during my break.
Awesome. Right. I think we met, we talked a little bit at the SNDA National Convention, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
That is where I first met you, and I heard your talk and workshop on postgraduate residency programs and things like that, which was really, really good.
Good. So that's the importance of going to those meetings so you can get that information.
Yeah, because I wouldn't even have thought to even start preparing or thinking about like residency. I was like, okay, maybe that's like a next 2019 problem. And I'm thinking now, I was like, okay, it's better to just start the process a little bit earlier so I'm not stressed towards like the application like opening period.
Absolutely. So again, I applaud you for starting this process ASAP. So that's good, doing the D3 year. So now, where are you from? Tell me a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I'm originally from Southern California, Long Beach area, but I moved to the Bay Area about 8 years ago to go to college. I went to UC Berkeley, and after some time at Berkeley, I worked a little bit and did a post-bac program at UCSF, and after a few years, I got into the UCSF program.
Awesome. So this has been something that you've been preparing for a while.
Yes. So I almost see like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like I'm almost there, but it definitely has been a journey.
So 4 years at Berkeley, a couple of years working. So that's maybe 6 years, or post-bac. That's another year. That's 7 years. And then what? And then did you, right after your post-bac, you got in?
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as post-bac was done, then that's when I started dental school.
Great. So that's 7 years plus the 3 that you've been doing. So 10 years, you got one more.
Yeah, so almost there.
Well, that's why we want to make sure that we can reward you, or you can reward yourself with a great residency that's only going to help you, kind of expedite this thing called lifelong learning, which is all part of the process here.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we talked, and you heard a little bit about the this whole process of applying to residency during the workshop, but I also know you had some specific issues, or what you considered problems for yourself in attacking this, and also you had some specific questions. So let's talk about the actual issues that you find for yourself are important?
So some of the issues that I'm having as far as like with applying for residency is just like coming up with like a game plan as far as like how I'll be applying, which is like developing like some type of application worksheet or spread and kind of look at all the different schools that I'm interested in, comparing and contrasting like the pros and cons. Some of the things that were brought up during the workshop that you had at the ADEA conference was the site visits, which is something I never really considered. So trying to decide like how many schools I want to apply, actually visit, what I should hope to gain from those visits, and then like how long I should actually stay at a particular program to kind of like get a feel for like how the program is. And then also like components of the application. I know some schools are participants of the PASS, ADEA PASS.
Right.
So I want to know, is there components of the application that I should start on sooner rather than later?
Wow, a lot of good stuff. So let's tackle it real quick here. So before we tackle, let me ask you this question: who's been helping you with this?
Nobody. This is just something, I mean, after I got back from the conference, it was just something that I just really just started thinking about. So I haven't reached out to anyone regarding like guidance or any help with the residency application like process.
Okay.
So this is like kind of like the beginning stages.
Right. Well, I'm glad we connected. I'm glad you reached out to me, because that's key. It's key to have. It's key to make sure you have somebody kind of help you guide through the process, who's either gone through it as a student or as a incoming resident, but also who's familiar with it. So that's good. You got some mentorship, and we're going to come up with an initial game plan. So you mentioned 3 things. So the first thing, site visits. Yes, site visits are so very important. One of the things you got to keep in mind is that even though there's over 300 GPR and ADGD programs throughout the country, some come in different shapes and forms and numbers. Some programs are as small as 2 or 4 people. Some are as big as ours, like 30 to 50 people. Right?
Okay.
So one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that just like dental school, where there's usually about 50% of the people that apply actually get in, residency is somewhat similar. There's 5 times as many residencies as there are dental schools. So there are a lot more applicants in that same pool who are fighting for an average of anywhere from, like I said, 4 to maybe 8 or 10 spots on average.
Oh, okay.
So you really, really have to find out and do things that are going to differentiate yourself. Going to the site, going to the program, and introducing yourself before they get your application is probably the best, I think, and most fast track way to get yourself noticed, right? Because you want to differentiate yourself by getting noticed, because nobody knows you. All we know about you when we get your application is the stuff that's on your application.
Exactly.
I remember, as program directors, we're looking at not only yours, but maybe another 30, 40, 50, or even 100 applications. And they're all going to look the same because, for the most part, they're coming from the standardized form on PASS.
Okay.
So what can you do to make yourself stand out or be less obscure than what you are with just on paper? And one of the ways is going for site visits. So definitely something that I want you to consider. As far as the length and duration, some programs will have a protocol for site visits, some won't. I know our program is usually like a half a day, a couple of hours, maybe like 2 to 3 or 4 hours, which usually was run by the residency coordinator, or maybe it's even by the chief residents, depending on the size of the program. Where you come in, you may get a tour, you may get a chance to talk to some of the residents, whether it's a chief resident or one of the first year residents, and maybe see some procedures in the clinic, and then also maybe have a chance to talk to the residents during lunch. So each program will be different on how they handle site visits, if they even handle them at all. But the main thing is now you are eye to eye.
Yeah.
Residency coordinator, and most importantly, the residency program directors that are going to be reviewing your application and also conducting the interviews.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So I now that you put it kind of like in that perspective, I feel like I definitely need to make a few site visits just so I can kind of, not only see if like the site will be a good site for me, as say if I was, matched with that program, but also to kind of like set myself apart.
Yes, absolutely. And that is part of the reason for doing the site visit, but also for doing interviews, so that not only does the program have the opportunity to see and see you in person, but also so that you can see the program and the people in the program in person as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of times the things that you find in online doesn't really explain or help establish what the program is about until you actually physically have to go there to actually see. So that's another reason why those site visits are helpful. Some programs may not, the website could be from 3 or 4 years ago, and things could be significantly, could have changed from then, right? Some site visits for some websites for some programs don't have a lot of information as much as you would get if you went to go visit the program as well. All right. Number of sites being suggested. It all depends on your list. All depends on your list.
Okay. Hey, this is Dr. Darwin, your new dentist coach. Hey, look, it's residency time. It's residency application time. And the biggest question that a lot of people have is, how do I prepare my application? So look, if you're struggling in getting your information together, your CV, your personal statement, or you're ready but not prepared for your interviews, reach out to me ASAP, right? Through my group, Dental Residency Headquarters, we can help you. We can help you get ready for this residency cycle so that you're able to do this. We want you to match into residency cycle this year, all right? But you got some work to do. If you need some help with that application, shoot me an email at newdentistcoach@gmail.com. newdentistcoach@gmail.com. And through our program called Get Into Dental Residency, we can help you. But you got to hurry up, because residency application is right now. So shoot me an email right now. All right, let's get back to this episode.
And I had a question. Is there like about an average amount of like sites that you recommend students apply to? Because I know when I was in like post-bac program, the amount of like schools like at the minimum. For residency, would you suggest like maybe maximum 10 or less or something like that?
It's all going to depend on what you're trying to do, what kind of training you're trying to have, and where you are applying the training. That's why I asked you a little bit about where you're from. Even before you even start looking at programs, you got to start thinking about what is best for you, what you're trying to accomplish. Is it something where you want more A training than B training, right? Do you want to stay on the West Coast? Are you open to going to the East Coast or going down south or going X, Y, and Z? All those things will dictate how many programs you start looking at, and then how many programs you add to your actual, top 10 or top 5 or whatever list. So all of those numbers don't mean anything until you do some self-assessment and evaluation as to what you're looking for and where you want to do it.
Okay, makes sense.
It's going to be more than just about the residency for the 1 year or 2 years that you're there. It's going to be, well, if I'm in California, well, if I want to practice in California and I'm doing a residency maybe in Florida, also that transition, is there advantage or disadvantage? Now, if I want to go to Florida, and then maybe I'm thinking about doing a residency in Florida, so that gives me another opportunity to see more about the city during the time that I'm doing the residency at the same time.
Exactly. Okay.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. So that number is really all going to depend on first going back to what you're looking for and where you're thinking you want to do it. Not that it won't change, but at the same time, you want to at least have a strategic plan prepared so that if it is Florida and you're thinking about Florida, you may want to do a residency in Florida.
Okay.
So,
right.
so that kind of helps with that. So that was the first question. You asked something about organizing everything.
Yes, exactly. Like coming up with like some type of like spreadsheet so that I can kind of compare and contrast different like components of each like program. Um, and then also another side point that just kind of like popped up is like, I want to know, is there a way to like research schools? Like, is there like an equivalent to like the Guide to Dental Schools? Like, you know how ADEA has like a kind of a book that has like each dental school program, what the requirements are, a description of the program. Is there like some type of equivalent to that for like different residency programs? Because I feel like that would be very helpful with like creating some type of spreadsheet to, you know, do like a compare contrast.
Well, guess what? I got a project for you, and I'm going to have you be my co-editor on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually in the process of starting that type of a guide to residency programs. It would be extensive, and one of the challenges as to why it's not in existence right now is because of the fact that there are 5 times as many programs than there are dental schools, and some programs, like I said, are very small, 1 or 2 residents to over 50 residents. So even if that guide does come out, or when it does come out, it may not be completely conclusive of all the programs. It may only be of, you know, a couple of programs per state. I know in New York, where I'm at, currently, just in the Bronx, I mean, there's about 10 programs.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can imagine, you know, other states, other cities that are real popular, it could be the same. But unfortunately, right now, there is no guide, but it's coming very soon. But one of the things that you can do is a spreadsheet. You have to start looking at, start naming 4 or 5 things that you're looking for in a program, in addition to what those programs are requiring as far as the submission of documents. And you can come up with your own spreadsheet. So if you want, you know, that's something that you and I can work on. That can help you, and I can help you kind of create that. It will kind of help with being able to differentiate different things, especially as you're looking at them. And that's something that we could do together as one of my coaching clients. We can put that together and help you with it. So great idea. Yeah.
Okay. Like out there, because it would just make it so much easier.
That's right. It would. Makes sense too. So that was the second question about the spreadsheet and the research guide to GPR programs and AAGD programs. So that's coming. But you can start now with, like I said, 3 to 4 or 5 things that you're looking for, that you'll be able to compare and contrast and use those 5 things for all the different programs.
Okay.
And then you had a question about the PASS application. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I know there's different components to the application. I'm sure, like, you know, a personal statement. Of course, you need letter writers and things like that. Is there any component of the application you feel students kind of wait till the last minute, and it's like you would suggest they like start on it sooner rather than later? I know like securing people that can write letters of recommendation is super important, but anything other than that, do you feel like students should start on probably very early on before submitting an application?
Well, there's two thoughts. That's a great question. 2 thoughts to that. Number one, your application for residency starts your D1 year.
Okay.
So even though this is D3 for you, there's still hope.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Because I can hear your voice like, like Dr. Hayes, I'm not going back to D1.
No, I cannot go back to D1. No.
No, I'm not doing that. Please. So I say that because D1 year, because first of all, everyone starts off, you start off with a 4.0. And it's just a matter of how you maintain it. So depending on what residency, if it's not general dentistry, but if it's more specialty, especially for the specialty residencies, that D1 year is very important. That GPA, I know some schools now are pass-fail.
We're pass-fail, so we don't have a GPA.
Right. So even more reason why that first year is important, because you have to figure out other ways to continue to try to differentiate yourself. Boards now is pass-fail. So there's not a lot of metrics that have been used in the past that the residency programs can use to kind of help see where candidates are.
Exactly.
But it does start in that first year. Also in that first year is when you start interacting a little bit more with some faculty. Some schools I know will start clinic as early as D1 year, but it's maybe they're on a team of another D2, another 3, D4 that's part of the team, and they kind of get them into that clinic that way. Also, it may be more a D2 year when you guys are doing some more of the hands-on, giving anesthesia, doing prophies on one another. So it just depends. But in those times where you're interfacing with clinical faculty, that's also the time where you're going to start building those relationships or seeing those faculty that you're going to be working with in your D3 year and also your D4 year. So D3 year is important because that's typically when everyone does start clinic. At some point, like you're full-fledged seeing patients, you have a patient base. That time is important because that's when you're going to be interacting completely with clinical faculty. And these are the same clinical faculty that are going to be writing letters of reference for you. So getting to your question about what part of the application I think is most important, letters of recommendation, right? And that's why I'm glad you're starting this process now, because if you know that now on the onset of being in clinical practice as a dental student in your D3 year, you have a whole year, right, of being able to work with different faculty. They work with you so that you get to the point where you can ask him or her and him, please, Dr. Smith, I'm applying to residency programs. I know I've been working with you for the last couple of months on a couple cases. I wanted to see if you would be willing to write a strong letter on my behalf in my application for residency. You can't do that if you haven't been working with that person.
Yeah, true.
Right? It's hard to do that. So you're going to need to spend this D3 year, in addition to introducing yourself to clinic, but also spending the time to build some relationship with faculty members that you work with good and they work good with you and vice versa. So that part of the pass application starts now.
Okay. That's okay.
That starts now. I will definitely
put that on my homework to-do list, continue to, build relationships with faculty, and also, once it becomes that time to, apply, emphasizing, can you write me a strong letter? Because, people, as faculty can write letters for multiple people, but the key is a strong letter of support.
Yes, strong letter of support, as in highly recommend, right? Recommend is just like C, C grade. A highly recommend is like an A.
Exactly.
So those are the things that you're looking for. Now, keep in mind, when you're asking for these letters of recommendation, there's two other things you're going to need to give to them. One is your CV, and the other thing is your personal statement. So those are the other parts that you need to work on now.
Okay.
Personal statement as to, why you are interested in this professional development training or opportunity and doing a residency, right? Also, you may want to include a story, maybe how you got into dentistry or something that's unique about you. Because again, you got to remember with this application, every program director is reading every candidate's personal statement, their CV, and letters of recommendation. And I will tell you, after a while, they sound the same, or they can sound
okay.
right? So we're looking for something that just pops and comes off the sheet, whether it be a story or from, from your background, how you got into dentistry, some of the things that you've been working on and doing as a dental student, as a leader, mission trips, those types of things. And then also your why for doing dentistry, doing a residency as it relates to time after the residency, right? Because this residency, even this dental school period, is a small portion. It's, it's probably 1/8 or 1/7 of your total career that you're going to be spending in dentistry. 4 years of dental school, 1 year of residency is 5 years. You're going to be spending, 30, maybe 40 years in dentistry. Yeah. So it's a much bigger thing than just the residency time, but also we want to know about your future goals and aspirations as it relates to your personal statement. Those two things, CV, personal statement, need to be something that you give those people that you want to write letters of recommendation for, so that they have a background and learn knowing a little bit more about you. They have a point of reference. Some will even sit down and want to do a one-on-one with you, like a little interview, and talk to you a little bit more, right? In addition to you giving them that information, but as part of that process of being able to write a letter of recommendation for you. So those are the parts that most students will wait till the last minute to do it, because remember, this time next year, next May, the application, the PASS application portal is open, right? Yeah. But we also know what happens in May. People are graduating. People are, things are closing up for the school as far as the graduating class, faculty involved, and then you've got June and July vacations for some faculty, right? Oh, yeah. You're going to be asking for these letters much sooner than just when you're writing you're starting your application.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I didn't even think about that. Because I know like towards the end of the year, it's like you're trying to wrap up requirements, and then faculty are also very busy. I didn't even think about that. So even getting something done like early spring quarter or something like that would be like probably ideal.
Yeah, I mean, by this, now that you're starting this process, you're going to have a good 6 months of preparation before you actually start filling out your application. So during that 6 months, you'll have some time to actually solicit and make a list of some faculty members that can write that letter for you. But that means you got to have your CV updated, and you got to have your personal statement in your final draft, at least to give to them. And again, we have some coaching services. We can help you with your personal statement and just how to prepare for this application process, how to stay motivated and come up with your list of programs based on what you are looking for as an individual candidate. It's going to be different for everybody, just based on their needs, wants, and their desires as well. But those are the things that you should start on ASAP, because I'm going to tell you, you'll find, I know you've been working hard, and it seemed like it's been a long run these last 2 years, the D1 and D2 year. Yeah. Guess what? D3 year is going to go by fast.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's going to go by fast. So with you already knowing that, just stay above the curve so that you get stuff done and get it done, so that you're not waiting. People are not waiting on you to produce something that needs to be done for your application. Okay. Right. Okay. Give them enough time. Give them at least a couple of weeks so that they can write the letters, and so that so it doesn't impinge on your deadline that you're going to have for your application process.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yep, sound perfect. It was some very good advice. Thank you so much.
All right, that's good. You're welcome so much. And if you guys out there listening have questions like she did about residency or applying to dental school or life after dental school, again, please send them to me right here at newdentistcoach@gmail.com. We'll get those questions answered for you, and maybe even bring you on so we can hear a little bit more about your story and the foundation behind your question or your issue or your problem. Also, be sure to look at the next video that's coming up right over here. Student Dr. Akabike. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much for your time today. I'm glad we were able to connect again. And let me know if you have any further questions or want some guidance, or you want me to coach you some more. We have a couple programs just for dental students that kind of get you jump started and get you through this process, which can be, kind of tedious as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And please feel free to share this video with some classmates or other people that you know. And like I said, check out the next video right here that might be of help too. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.